The year is 2147. Skyscrapers claw at the synthetic sky, a tapestry of holographic advertisements shimmering between. Zia was lost, adrift. She was a whisper in the cacophony, a shadow in the neon glare. Her home planet, Xylar, was a memory, a bitter-sweet ache in her chest. War had ravaged their peaceful existence, forcing her to flee, to become a refugee on this teeming, indifferent Earth. Zia found shelter in the anonymity of the sprawling metropolis, her true form concealed beneath a holographic shroud. She became Ilara, the cleaning lady, her days consumed by the menial tasks of survival. It was in one such cage, the opulent penthouse of the Vandalins, that her path collided with his. Adrian, with his unruly brown hair and eyes that held the melancholy of distant stars. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months. Zia became a fixture in the Vandalin household, her presence as unremarkable as the furniture she dusted. She was invisible, unnoticed, a phantom gliding through their lives. But Adrian, with his quiet observations and gentle nature, began to see her. He would catch her gaze lingering on a painting, a wistful expression on her face. He'd find her humming softly, a haunting melody from a world unknown. As she tended to his late mother's prized orchids, he'd engage her in conversation, asking about her day, her life. Zia, bound by her secret, her fear, would answer in clipped sentences, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She yearned to tell him everything, to shed the suffocating weight of her disguise, but the risk was too great. So she remained silent, her love for him a fragile, forbidden thing. One evening, while cleaning Adrian's private study, Zia stumbled upon a hidden compartment behind a bookshelf. Curiosity, a dangerous indulgence, got the better of her. Inside, nestled amongst old data pads and faded photographs, was a small, shimmering cocoon, pulsating with an otherworldly light. It called to her, its energy resonating with something deep within her, awakening a dormant power, a forgotten truth. It was a Xylan chrysalis, a relic from her homeworld, capable of amplifying and transmuting energy. As she held it in her hand, a jolt surged through her, shattering the holographic disguise that cloaked her true form. Panic seized her. She was exposed, vulnerable. But as the energy subsided, a strange calm settled over her. Gone was the drab facade of Ilara. Standing in her place was Zia, her true form radiant, breathtaking. The sound of the study door opening snapped Zia out of her stunned silence. Adrian stood frozen in the doorway, his eyes wide with disbelief. He stared at her, his gaze travelling from her shimmering hair to her luminous skin, his usual composure shattered. For a moment there was only silence, the air thick with unspoken words, with the weight of revelation. "Zia," he whispered, his voice barely audible. She couldn't speak, couldn't tear her gaze from his. The truth was laid bare between them, a chasm of difference, of the impossible. She braced herself for rejection, for fear, for the inevitable moment of discovery. But what she saw in his eyes was not fear, but wonder. "You're," he began, his voice catching in his throat, "you're beautiful." His words, spoken with such genuine awe, broke through the barriers she had erected around her heart. For the first time since her arrival on this alien planet, she felt seen, truly seen. The initial shock of Zia's transformation gave way to a hesitant curiosity. Adrian, true to his nature, was more fascinated than afraid. He bombarded her with questions about Xylar, her people, the shimmering cocoon that had revealed her true self. Zia, initially hesitant, found herself opening up to him, her words tumbling out in a torrent of suppressed emotions. She spoke of her home planet, its vibrant flora and fauna, the ancient rituals and the advanced technology that coexisted in harmony. She told him of the war, the destruction that had forced her to flee, the pain of leaving everything she knew behind. Adrian listened with an intensity that surprised her, his eyes reflecting her pain, his silence speaking volumes. As the days turned into weeks, a fragile bond began to form between them. They shared stories, dreams, fears. They discovered a shared love for ancient literature, for the melancholic beauty of classical music, for the thrill of interstellar racing. Zia, for the first time since her arrival on Earth, felt a sense of belonging, of acceptance. Adrian, in turn, found in Zia a kindred spirit, a connection that transcended the boundaries of their different worlds. Their newfound happiness, however, was a fragile thing, a delicate flower blooming in the shadow of a looming threat. The knowledge of Zia's true identity weighed heavily on her. She knew that their secret couldn't remain hidden forever. The Galactic Federation, with their relentless pursuit of Xilan refugees, cast a long shadow over their newfound joy. Whispers of a shimmering phantom seen in the Vandalin penthouse reached the ears of the authorities. The Galactic Federation, alerted to the possibility of a Xilan presence, increased their surveillance of the city, their agents a constant unseen threat. Zia knew that it was only a matter of time before they were discovered. Adrian, sensing her growing unease, swore to protect her. He used his family's influence, their wealth, to create a web of security around the penthouse, a digital fortress to keep the outside world at bay. But Zia knew that it was not a permanent solution. The longer they stayed, the greater the risk, not only to themselves, but to everyone around them. The inevitable arrived on a day that began like any other. Zia was preparing breakfast when a news flash flashed across the screen, sending a chill down her spine. The Galactic Federation, acting on a tip, had raided a nearby sector, apprehending a group of Xilan refugees seeking refuge in the city's underbelly. The images that flickered across the screen, the fear and despair in the eyes of her captured people, shattered Zia's composure. She knew then that she couldn't stay, couldn't risk Adrian's safety, his future, for her own. She had to leave, disappear back into the anonymity of the city before their love became his undoing. "I have to go," she whispered, her voice choked with unshed tears. Adrian, his face pale, gripped her hand, his touch a desperate plea. "No," he breathed, his voice raw with emotion. "We'll find a way together." But Zia knew there was no other way. "If I stay," she whispered, her voice breaking, "they'll take you too. I won't let that happen." The months that followed Zia's disappearance were a blur of agonizing silence for Adrian. He threw himself into his work, into the relentless pursuit of justice for the wrongfully accused, using his family's legal firm to fight for those who couldn't fight for themselves. He became a voice for the voiceless, a champion for the oppressed, his every action fueled by the memory of Zia, her courage, her unwavering belief in justice. He never stopped searching for her, his efforts relentless, his determination unwavering. He used his family's resources, his connections to scour the city, to infiltrate the shadowy network of the Galactic Federation, seeking any sign, any whisper of her whereabouts. His quest became an obsession, a desperate attempt to silence the gnawing emptiness that consumed him. One day, while reviewing a case file, a name jumped out at him, a name whispered in the shadows, a name synonymous with resistance, the Xilan Liberation Front. He delved deeper, his heart pounding with a mixture of dread and hope. Adrian, using his legal expertise and his family's influence, engineered a daring plan. He allowed himself to be captured by the Galactic Federation, using his trial as a platform to expose their corruption, their inhumane treatment of Xilan refugees. His voice, amplified by the media frenzy surrounding his case, reached every corner of the city, every hidden crevice where hope still flickered. His plan worked. The Xilan Liberation Front, alerted to his plight, stormed the courthouse, their shimmering forms a beacon of defiance against the oppressive forces of the Galactic Federation. And there, at the heart of the chaos, her eyes blazing with righteous fury, her silver hair flowing like a banner of rebellion, was Zia. Their reunion was a whirlwind of emotion, of relief, of the overwhelming joy of finding solace in the midst of chaos. They fought side by side, their love a shield against the darkness, their shared dream of a better future fueling their every move. When the dust settled, the courthouse liberated, their eyes met across the battlefield, a silent promise exchanged in the aftermath of war. The Galactic Federation, their corruption exposed, their power waning, were forced to retreat, leaving behind a city teetering on the brink of change. In the aftermath, Adrian and Zia became symbols of hope, their love story a testament to the power of unity, of bridging the divide between worlds. They fought for a future where Xilans and humans could coexist, where love, not fear, would guide their path. Their journey was far from over. But as they stood hand in hand, gazing at the dawning of a new era, they knew that together they could face any challenge, overcome any obstacle.